Welcome to the first maths tutorial. So basically on this one we are going to try and be able to solve a problem involving coordinate geometry of a straight line. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to try and find the distance, which is also known as the length of coordinates. So let's have a look, see what we've got. Coordinates are x is -1 and y is 2. And then we've got x here as 5 and y as 6. So the first thing we're going to do is draw the graph. So we've got -1 on the x and we've got 2 on the y. So we are looking about here. And then we've got 5 and 6. So we're looking about here. So what it's asking for is the distance or the length of this line here. So to do this, we're going to draw a triangle, which is a right angled one. And we're going to use Pythagoras theorem. So on the x we're going to find out the difference or between -1 and 5, which is 6, and the y, which is 2 and 6, so the difference there is 4. And with Pythagoras theorem we're going to do 6 squared plus 4 squared. And that's going to equal, now if we just got the answer there, that would give us the full rectangle, the area of it. Now we want the distance or length, so we want half of it. So what we're going to do is our answer, we're going to square root it. So we've got 6 squared, which is 36, plus 4 squared, which is 16. Add them together and the answer is, remember to square root it, 52. So the answer for this one, the distance or the length, is a square root of 52. Okay, this question we are going to try and find the midpoint of the coordinates 3, -2 and 7 and 1. So the way to do this, obviously we've got an x here and an x here, we've got a y here and a y here. So to find the midpoint, basically you've got x, and you can do this as 1 plus x 2 divided by 2, and you can do exactly the same with the y1 plus y2 divided by 2. Okay, so let's work this out. So you've got x1, which is 3, plus x2, which is 7, that gives you 10, divided by 2. So the first coordinate is going to be 5, and then you've got -2 plus 1, which is -1, and then you half that because you're dividing it by 2, so you've got -1/2. And that's how you work out the midpoint. Okay, on this one we are going to find the gradient. We've got the x as -3, the y as -2, we've got an x as -5 and the y as 4. So we're going to draw our graph again. We've got -3 to the -2, just about here. And we've got -5 to the 4, which is about here. Okay, so what we need to do is find the gradient, these 2 points, this line here. So what we're going to do is we are going to do this as a right angle triangle again. Now because the gradient goes to a negative, because it's sloped in this direction, it's going to be a negative number. If it was going in this direction, it would be a positive because it's increasing. So what we're going to do here is we're going to find x. So we've got the difference between -3 and -5, which is 2. And we've got the difference between -2 and 4, which is going to be 6. So the gradient of this one is going to be minus, remembering the minus, and it's going to be 6 over 2. And 6 goes into 2 3 times, so it's going to be or -3. And that's how you find the gradient. Now the gradient is also known as m. You'll need to know this for the next question. Okay, this time we're going to find an equation for the perpendicular bisector of the line joining these two coordinates. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to find the midpoint. So we've got x1 plus x2. So we've got 2 plus 4, which is 6, divided by 2. So the first one is going to be 3. And then we've got 1 plus 5, which is 6, divided by 2 again, which is 3. So that's the midpoint. We also need to find the gradient. Now what we'll do for this one is we'll draw the graph. We've got 2, 1, which is about here, and we've got 4, 5, which is about here. So we need to find this gradient. Okay, so we know it's going in a positive direction, so it's going to be a plus number this time. And we're going to draw a right angled triangle again. We've got the difference between x being 2, and we've got the difference between y being 4. So the gradient is going to be 4 over 2. But what we also know is that because it's a perpendicular bisector, what we do is, or this even becomes to 2, because there's 4 goes into 2 times. But what we do is we actually put a 1 over the 2 because it's a perpendicular bisector, and we change this so it goes from a positive to a negative number. So basically that is going to be the gradient for this one. Now the gradient is also known as m. The reason why we need to know that is because we put it in a formula. The formula is y equals mx plus c. Now we know what y is because we've got 3 here, so we can put 3 in, equals m, which is minus a half, so we've got minus a half, times x, which is 3, plus c. So we'll write this out again. We've got 3 equals 3 times minus a half is minus 1.5, plus c. Now everything this side has to equal this side. And we know this is minus 1.5, so we'll add 1.5 to it to get it to 0, but we want the answer to be 3. So we'll add 3 to 1.5, which gives us 4.5. So c equals 4.5. To write that out again, you've got y equals, you put the m in, so you've got minus a half to the x plus your c, which is 4.5, or you can do it as a top heavy fraction, so it would be y equals minus a half x plus, to make it a top heavy fraction, instead of doing 4.5 you would do 9 over 2, and that is your formula, or your equation even, for the perpendicular bisector.